Hi, I'm Joe Cross from shopping comparison website kelku.co.uk. I'm going to be talking today about the Samsung Galaxy Tab. This is going on sale in the UK on the 1st of November. So I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of that and look at it in comparison to Apple's much loved iPad, which has been on sale here for some time now. So the Apple iPad, I can tell you from personal experience, it is a brilliant piece of kit. It was recently voted Gadget of the Year at the T3 Awards, and analysts reckon that it's the fastest selling gadget of all time. Now, obviously the Apple product does have some limitations though, and there's a load of things that Samsung have packed into the Galaxy Tab which are pretty clearly aimed at going head to head with those limitations. But fundamentally they are very similar too, so you can do all the basic features like watching movies, reading books, obviously browsing the internet, both very, very comparable on the two. And you can connect via 3G on both units as well. Okay, let's compare them in terms of size and weight. So the Galaxy is a lot smaller than the iPad. In fact, it's about half the size. In terms of thickness, they're about the same. Galaxy is maybe a tiny bit thicker. But really, because this is half the size of the iPad, it's only half the weight, and it is a lot more portable. There's a big difference in terms of the screen sizes. The Galaxy has a 7-inch screen and the iPad a 9.7-inch screen. So yeah, they look and feel very different when you're holding them and using them. Now, Samsung have specifically launched the Galaxy in terms of its portability, and that's the gap in the market that they think Apple hasn't nailed. So I mentioned earlier on that the iPad has a few limitations, so let's see what the Samsung can do. First point is the camera. It has one, the iPad doesn't have a camera at all, and in fact it has two cameras. So on the back is a 3.2 megapixel camera, and on the front is a 1.3 megapixel camera, which is designed for use when you're doing video calling or using Skype. In terms of connectivity, both can be used over Wi-Fi and both can be used over 3G. Big difference is what you can do over 3G. So basically the Samsung can actually be used as a phone. So they've put in a SIM card slot here, and that means that you can make calls, you can make video calls. Now it is quite big, so it doesn't just fit nicely in your pocket, and you would look a little bit ridiculous making a call like that on the street. So it's good that they've put in a speaker set and microphone with it as well. So the iPad's operating system is the iOS 4, and the Galaxy runs on Android 2.2. So in terms of apps, through the iPad you get access to the whole Apple App Store, and within that there's about 25,000 dedicated iPad apps. In terms of dedicated Samsung Galaxy Tab apps, obviously nowhere near 25,000 yet, but you do have access to the whole Android app market, which is well documented to be growing a lot at the moment. So in the future it looks as if this is going to be catching up in terms of apps versus the iPad. In terms of areas where the Samsung doesn't do so well, there's the battery life, which I mentioned earlier is only 7 hours versus 10 hours on the iPad. And then you've just got the general usability, the interface, and the way that the whole thing feels when you're using it. I think the touchscreen on the iPad is better in terms of how comfortable it is to use, and it just feels like the Apple user experience still hasn't been beaten by this. So I've talked about loads of things that the Galaxy can do over and above the iPad, and also a few things it can't. Overall, I think the most important pros of the Galaxy are that it can operate as a phone, it can run Flash when you're browsing the internet, which is something that just makes the whole experience of browsing the web much better on the Galaxy. And also the size and weight could be seen as a benefit if you're wanting to use it for portability, but equally on the flip side, it doesn't give you as much screen space to use when looking at the internet or when reading a book, for example. So I think that one really depends who you are and what you're using it for. So that's not to say that this isn't a close contender, and there are people that are saying that the Samsung Galaxy Tab is the first real iPad contender on the market. Whether or not it'll be an iPad killer is something that's still to be seen.